Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's story and vocabulary session. And I'm so excited to have you here with us. And I hope you're very excited too because we're going to do part two of the Hypnosis Havoc. So that was yesterday's story. We did part one yesterday, the Hypnosis Havoc. Now, in case you've missed the first part, I am going to give you a recap today. However, I would strongly suggest that you watch part one later so that you can learn the vocabulary we taught yesterday. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Arya. Good evening, Amira. Please put down your real names. I may not know your names because you're using your parents' account, some of you. Hello, Tanishka. Welcome. All right. So I'd like to say that I'm so elated to have you with us. So, children, we do spend a lot of time creating each live stream. We spend close to 8 hours creating one live stream video. You see, we create the story, we figure out what your 60 words are going to be, then we have to make all of these pictures for you and then put them on here onto the software so I can show it to you while narrating the story. So, thank you so much for being here with us. And yes, thank you so much for honoring our hard work. And I hope you're going to learn a lot from today's session as well. Good evening, Avika. Good evening, Kanishka, Pradnya, Sachi, Ilahi, Shriya. Welcome. Mishita. All right, I hope I'm not mispronouncing any of your names. In case I am, I apologize. Let's begin the Hypnosis Havoc. So, yesterday's story, part one of Hypnosis Havoc, was basically about hypnosis, right? When you put somebody in a trance, that's hypnosis, and that person has no control over their thoughts and their actions. So, a person who does professional hypnosis is called a hypnotist. That's a hypnotist. Now, this child named William, he reads a comic which tells him that he can hypnotize chickens in a certain way. So he tries it out on his father's pet chicken called Ramen. So he hypnotizes Ramen. Now, Ramen is a very special chicken. His father loves Ramen because Ramen is a gifted chicken. Ramen understands numbers. So if you tell Ramen, Ramen count to five, so Ramen will peck 5 times. So Ramen is a gifted chicken. So he hypnotizes Ramen, and Ramen is then in a trance. All right, Ramen is frozen, he's not moving, and William gets afraid and he takes Ramen to school because he doesn't want his father to discover what happened to Ramen. Now, at school, he meets his friend Sam. Now, Sam is a jocular boy, and Sam asks William to put him in a trance. All right, so he sees Ramen being frozen. So he says, "Oh, William, come on, now you've got to hypnotize me too." So William hypnotizes Sam as well. And after this, he tells, so William tells Sam while hypnotizing him that you are a chicken. And Sam starts behaving like a chicken. So William had also told Sam that whenever you hear the word no, right, you will behave like a chicken for 30 seconds and otherwise you will go back to being your normal self, right? So Sam only turns into a chicken or behaves like a chicken when he hears the word no. So when they go for their mathematics class, Sam continues to behave like a chicken, and their mathematics teacher, Mr. Spigot, is a very ill-natured, very spiteful teacher. He's very grouchy. He doesn't like this kind of behavior. All right, and he says no by mistake, right? William says no, and he doesn't realize what's going to happen. When Mr. Spigot asks William, "Have you done your homework?" William says no, and that activates Sam becoming a chicken. So Sam turns into a chicken in class. Mr. Spigot is enraged. Everyone is laughing like crazy, and Mr. Spigot gives them 50 convoluted, complicated mathematics sums as homework and tells them that if you don't complete it, you're going to be expelled. Now, Sam and William have to complete this homework and come the next day to school. In the meantime, William has figured out how to pull Sam out of this trance. So he tells Sam that whenever I count to three, you're going to stop behaving like a chicken and you won't remember it again. But now they're left with 50 sums. So that was the story, part one of Hypnosis Havoc. And I hope you understood this much. And we're going to go ahead. Again, like I said, if you want to imbibe the vocabulary I taught yesterday, go back and watch part one after this session in case you haven't watched it. Okay, so let's begin. Mom and Dad were going out that night, and I had to mind the baby. So he has to do his homework. William has to do his homework. And at the same time, his mom and dad tell him that, look, you have to babysit the baby. He has an 18-month-old sister. All right. And Sam and William, since they have a lot of homework, they're very anxious. They're very scared they're going to get expelled. So both of them are distressed, they're distraught, and they're perturbed. So these are other words for anxious. Like I've taught you, when I'm showing you these words, I'd like you to repeat after me, right? So other words for anxious, when you're worried or anxious, you're distressed, you're distraught, you're perturbed. You're wondering, oh my God, how are we going to do all this homework? 50 convoluted, complicated, intricate sums. How will we do it? And both of them are terrible at mathematics. So, and plus, now mom and dad have given William the responsibility of babysitting. So, when is he going to do mathematics? So, William says, Mom, Sam and I have to do homework. I can't mind the baby. He says, I can't babysit. I have to do so much homework. Rubbish, said Mom. The baby will be asleep. You just want to play music and watch TV. Don't lie to me about homework. So Mom thinks that William is making up stories. He's making up tall tales. So she says, no, you have to babysit your sister. And I doubt you're going to do homework. You just want to play music loud and you want to watch TV. And no, you have to do it. Don't lie to me about homework. She went off laughing loudly to herself. So she thinks that William is making a joke about having all this homework. I couldn't tell her about the sums or being expelled if we didn't finish them. So William couldn't actually tell his mom that, look, mom, if we don't do this homework, we'll get expelled. Because then his mom will also be enraged and infuriated and incensed. The chubby baby was asleep in her bassinet. So his little sister is an 18-month-old baby and she's asleep in her bassinet. So a bassinet is a child's cradle or a small bed. I'll show you what a bassinet looks like. So this is what a bassinet looks like, right? That's adorable, isn't it? So this is a bassinet. So his baby sister, a lot like this baby, is asleep in the bassinet and he doesn't really have to do anything as of now. She had only just started to walk. So she was 18 months old and she had only just started walking. She was a year and a half old. Sam is here, announced Mum. She showed him into the house. So Mum brings Sam into the house. Make sure you don't make too much noise. The baby's sleeping. So Mum and Dad leave and Mum tells Sam and William, please take care of the baby and don't make too much noise. The baby snored away. So his little sister continued to snore and there was no problem. Now they could sit down and do their mathematics problems. We sat down at the table and tried to work out the answer to the first convoluted sum. So I taught you these words yesterday, convoluted, intricate, and complicated. So all of these words mean very, very difficult, very complicated. And remember, Mr. Spigot had given them the most difficult sums because of the havoc that was created in his class. Since Sam was behaving like a chicken and going quack, 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 quack in the class, right? And it had absolutely disrupted the class. So he had given them a lot of convoluted mathematics problems to solve. I don't know how to do this. How will we do this? Said Sam. So Sam is distressed. He is distraught. And he doesn't know what he's going to do because they can't solve a single mathematics problem. I looked at all the other sums. There were 50 together, real intricate problems. We'll never be able to do it, said Sam. My heart sank. I knew he was right. Tomorrow we would be expelled from school. We tried and tried for about an hour, but it was no good. We couldn't even work out one answer, right? So the next day, they realized that they're going to be expelled because they tried so hard and they didn't get a single answer. So they're really distraught, like I said, and I'm going to teach you another word, disconcerted. They're disconcerted. When you're disconcerted, you feel very worried and uncertain. You're not sure about what's going to happen. You're so worried and unsure about what's going to happen. You're uncertain. That's disconcerted. So, yesterday I taught you a word unnerved, right? When you're unnerved, you're very worried, you are disconcerted. Another word is disconcerted. So, children, please repeat, all right, whenever I'm showing you these words. No, you can't use a calculator. So, somebody said the solution is a calculator. No, you can't do that. You have to show the working of the problem. You can't just, give the final answer. You have to write down the working of the problem, how you worked out the answer. And all of these problems, they can't be solved simply with a calculator. Some problems, they have X, Y, or Z in them, right? So you have to solve for X, Y, or Z. You have to find out the value of those letters. That can't be solved on a calculator. So they're not, Sam and William are not that daft. Trust me on this. Okay. Sam suddenly threw the papers onto the floor. I'm sick of this, he said. We might as well do something else. He said, we are going to get expelled. Now I'm sick of this. Forget about it. Let's do something else. Some smarty pants said chat GPT, but sorry kids, teachers catch chat GPT. All right, we are not daft either. All right. This is when Sam had his brainwave. So he has a sudden clever idea, right? So Sam has a sudden clever idea. Let's see what it is. I was watching this show once, he said, about a hypnotist. He could take people back in time to earlier lives. So Sam is again going back to thinking about hypnosis, like a lot of you. And he says that, I saw this program about hypnosis, and it was about a hypnotist who would hypnotize people and take them to their earlier lives. What do you mean? I said. So William doesn't understand. He says, what rubbish are you talking? Sam stared at me. Well, this man believed that everyone has lived before. Only you can't remember it. When you die, you get born again as someone else. So this is the hypnotist's belief. So the hypnotist believed that everyone gets reborn. So according to the hypnotist, everyone has lived before and you can't remember it and you get born as someone else. I don't believe it, I said. Neither do I, honestly. Sam was always wanting an adventure. So Sam was very adventurous. He liked going on adventures, on escapades. So he says, let's give it a try. You hypnotize me and see if I can tell you about an earlier life. Yes, reincarnation, Shlok, you're absolutely right. So the hypnotists believe that people get reincarnated, and Sam wants to check if he has been reincarnated. Now he wants to go on an adventure. I didn't want to do it. We were in enough trouble because of hypnosis already. But in the end, Sam convinced me. So William was against it because all this hypnosis had created so much havoc, had created so much chaos, so much commotion. So William didn't want to do it, but Sam ultimately convinced him. You are feeling sleepy, I told him. So he started the hypnosis process. Straight away, Sam started to nod off. So Sam starts to feel sleepy and he starts nodding off. I was getting better and better at this hypnotism. So, so William is getting excited because he's becoming a better hypnotist. Um, you are going back, I went on, back to your earlier life. You are going back 20 years. It is the 5th of April at 8 o'clock. Who are you? So he takes Sam mentally back 20 years and he tells him, look, it's the 5th of April, it's 8 o'clock. Who are you? There was a long silence. Sam didn't say anything. Sam had his eyes closed. He just sat there. Was it working? So William thinks, has he put Sam to sleep? So odd. Then something creepy happened. All right, something really creepy happened. Something really spine chilling. Something scary happened. Something hair raising happened. Something that makes your hair stand on end. Something blood curdling happened. It makes you feel like your blood also has frozen. It has curdled. Something harrowing happened. All right, so these are other words for creepy or scary. Repeat. Spine chilling. It sends a chill down your spine. You get scared. It's hair raising. It makes your hair stand on end. It's blood curdling and it's harrowing. So something really creepy happened. It made my hair stand on end. Sam opened his mouth and spoke in a slow, deep voice. It wasn't his voice that came out of his mouth. It was the speech of a fully grown man. I am John, he said. So he doesn't sound like a teenage boy. He sounds like a fully grown man, and his name is John. So this was Sam before getting hypnotized, right? A simple teenage boy. And this is Sam after getting hypnotized. Let's look at this again. Sam before hypnosis and Sam after hypnosis. His eyes have widened, right? He looks like he's in a trance and he's talking like a fully grown man. And this is very creepy. It's spine chilling, it's hair raising, it's blood curdling, and it's very harrowing. All right, it's yes, you're absolutely right. Petrifying. You can add that too. So this is Sam before hypnosis and after hypnosis. All right, let's continue. It was amazing. I had taken him back in time. So William couldn't believe it that he had actually accomplished this, right? He had taken Sam back in time. He had taken him before he was born to a previous birth. So it was amazing. It was unbelievable. All right. So these are other words for unbelievable. Incredible. Incredible means it's so amazing it can't be believed. And there is inconceivable. It means unbelievable. Repeat. Incredible and inconceivable. They both mean unbelievable. All right. Incredible and inconceivable. So he's gone back in time. The unbelievable has happened. I asked John. So William asks Sam, who is now John, what he did for a job. I'm a fireman, he said loudly. How old are you? 33. He was answering my questions very seriously. I wanted to know more. This is when I made my big mistake. What are you doing now? I asked. At this very minute. So now he's a fireman. John is a fireman. All right. And William asks him, what are you doing now at this minute? And this was a mistake. Let's see what happens next. Fire! Sam shouted. No time to talk. Must put out the fire. He sat upright. His eyes were wide and staring. He ran over to the sink and filled up a jug of water. Then he threw it at the wall. It ran down Mum's best wallpaper and onto the floor. Now he thinks he's a fireman. All right. Sam thinks that he's John the fireman. Remember, when you're under hypnosis in a trance, you can't control your thoughts and actions. He has gone back to being John. So he thinks that there's a fire, that he has to put out a fire like a fireman. So he takes a jug and he throws it at the wallpaper, at Mum's best wallpaper. And there's water then all over the place. Stop! I yelled, but it was no good. Sam was back in an earlier life. He thought the house was on fire, right? He thought that there was an inferno, there was a fire that he had to put out. I grabbed him by the arm, but he was too strong. He had the power, he had the strength of a grown man. He brushed me aside as if I was a baby and ran outside. So now Sam is not only talking like a grown man, he even has the strength of a grown man. He's gone back to being John in a way. So he's behaving like a fireman, all right? And he even has the strength of a fireman, all right? Now he ran outside to get the hose pipe. Now, so in these houses, right, they have a yard, they have a garden hose so they can water their plants. So he goes out to get the hose pipe. When I count to three, I shouted, but it was useless. He wasn't listening. Remember the previous time, William pulled Sam out of the trance by telling him, when I count to three, you're going to forget that this happened. But now there is so much havoc, so much chaos, so much commotion that Sam isn't listening. So now it's no use. So he gets the hose pipe. He dragged the hose into the living room and started squirting the walls. He started ejecting the water out of the hose pipe. This is what he's doing. All right, he's hosing down the walls. He dragged the hose into the living room, squirted the walls and the sofa and the carpet. The room was soon swirling with water, right? The room was flooded with water after some time. So he kept doing this all around the house. The sofa was wet, the walls were wet, and slowly water was collecting in the house. So the house was getting flooded. It was getting inundated. All right? Inundated means flooded. So children, before I move on, I'd like to ask you, the Brainy Brats here, there was a word in the rainy day masterclass, in the monsoon masterclass, which is another word for flood. It begins with D. So what's that word? Put it down in the comments. All right. So the room was inundated with water, flooded with water. All right. Let's see what the living room looked like. I'll just quickly show you. That's the living room. It is inundated with water. All right. So inundated is covered, flooded with water. Absolutely right, Arya. Deluge. All right. Shlok, very good. Deluge. Praveen, very good. So yes, Bhagirathi, absolutely right. Deluge. Snehal. Another word for flood, Apeksha. That's what I asked. All right, you're absolutely right. Deluge. There you go. So the living room was inundated and so was the bedroom. There was a deluge in the bedroom as well. This means flood. Absolutely right. I'd like to give you a round of applause. All right, good job. Great job. So look at the bedroom covered with water, and so is the living room. Now imagine their parents will come home and see that their home is flooded. This is another hypnosis havoc that's been created. Okay, let's continue. He kept shouting something about getting the baby out before the flames reached her. So now Sam actually thinks he's a fireman. So he keeps saying, let's get the baby out. We have to save the baby. I grabbed the baby and ran into the yard. So William thinks that Sam has gone crazy. He takes his little baby sister and goes to the yard. Sam had gone wild. He was wetting everything. He thought the house was on fire. I had to stop him. But how? There was no one to help. So now Sam is destroying the house, right? He's wrecking the house. He's defacing the house. So, in other words, for destroying are wrecking and defacing. So, he's wrecking the house and defacing the house. So, now William doesn't know what he's going to do. All right. So, Vanya, if you want me to, sorry, I'm going to just address someone in the comments. Vanya, if you want me to call me by your real name, you'll need to put it down. I don't know your name from your parents' names. I won't be able to recollect as quickly while I'm narrating the story. All right, let's continue. I stared down at the baby. Now he's holding his baby sister and he's wondering what he's going to do. So, this was William's house that I showed you, not Sam's house. So it's not Sam's parents that are very affluent. One of you has written that. It's William's parents. So let's continue. So now the baby was sucking its knuckles. So babies keep sucking on something. So this baby was sucking on its hand, its knuckles, and dribbling as usual. So dribbling is drooling, right? Saliva is coming out of your mouth. Right? Dribbling is not the basketball dribbling here. Dribbling refers to drooling. So it's drooling, salivating, and slobbering. Right? Drooling, salivating, and slobbering. And this is what the baby was doing. She was drooling, she was salivating, and she was slobbering. Like any baby would, right? Their saliva runs out of their mouth. Okay, so let's continue. So now he starts hypnotizing the baby. William starts hypnotizing the baby. He tells the baby, baby, you're feeling sleepy. You are going back to another life. It is 10 years ago on the 3rd of November. Who are you? What is your name? So he also hypnotizes his baby sister. This is her getting hypnotized. So he hypnotizes his baby sister and he tells her, you're going back 10 years. So who are you and what is your name? The baby did nothing for a minute or so. Then it sat straight up in its bassinet, right? The baby sits up. It boomed at me with its deep voice. So this baby otherwise talks like this. Cuckoo, kaka, mama, tata. Right? So the baby talks like this. But now the baby is talking like this, right? With a booming voice. So this baby has a booming voice. I'm going to teach you a fancy word for a deep booming voice. It's sonorous. All right, repeat after me. Sonorous. It's pronounced sonorous. Sonorous. So when somebody has a deep voice, they have a sonorous voice, right? Sonorous. So this baby gets hypnotized and it has a sonorous voice. I'm Larry, said the baby. I'm the world heavyweight boxing champion. So the baby has turned into a boxing champion. That's what the baby was in a previous life. Please help me, I said to the baby. Stop that maniac Sam from flooding our house. So William tells the baby, baby, heavyweight champion, boxing champion, come on, help us. That maniac Sam is flooding our house, so you've got to help us. So maniac is a crazy person, a madman. So another word is lunatic. Maniac and lunatic. All right. So he's saying this maniac, this lunatic Sam is destroying, defacing, wrecking our house. Go save our house. The baby jumped out of the bassinet and headed for the door. Sam looked in amazement at the baby striding across the lawn. Now this baby in real life has just started walking. And now the baby is striding. All right. Striding is taking long steps, walking with long steps. So the baby is walking like this. All right. The baby is walking with long steps now. All right. The baby is being a heavyweight boxing champion. Okay. Let's see what happens next. He didn't want a child to get into a house that he thought was burning down. Now, Sam thought he's a fireman and he didn't want a baby to enter the house that he thought was on fire. So he slammed the door. He closed the door and he didn't want the baby to come in. The baby kicked the door and knocked it off its hinges. Now, this baby is not a normal baby anymore. So the baby just kicks the door. The baby has the power of the previous birth. So the baby kicks the door and the door gets knocked off the hinges. The door falls down. Oh gosh. I groaned. Oh no! The house was being wrecked. The house was further getting destroyed. The baby strode across the room to Sam. So the baby goes to Sam, all right, walks with long steps to Sam. She drew back her arm, leapt, she jumped in the air and punched Sam on the jaw, right? So she behaves like a heavyweight boxing champion, jumps and punches Sam on the jaw. Sam dropped like a felled tree, all right? Felled tree. Now, this word felled, it may seem wrong because fell is the past tense of fall. But we say felled for tree if the tree has been cut down, right? So Sam fell down like a tree that has been cut down. So felled tree. So he fell down like a felled tree, like a tree that has been cut down. The baby picked Sam up and held him above her head. So imagine this baby has become so powerful. She picks Sam up like it's nothing at all and holds him above her head. She carried him out to me. So the baby carries Sam out from the house to the yard and dumped him on the grass. She throws him out in the yard. How is that? She boomed. So she talks in a sonorous voice again. How did I do? It was scary listening to that enormous voice coming out of such a tiny mouth. So the baby looks so adorable like this. Now imagine this baby screaming like, how is that? Right? And holding a teenage boy, throwing him here and there. It is scary watching this happen. The baby gave a wicked grin. So the baby smiles like this, a wicked grin, and held her hands up like a boxer in a ring that has won. So she holds her hand up like she's won a boxing tournament. Still the champ! Still the champ! I'm still the champ! So she starts chanting. Imagine this little baby's chanting like a grown man. I'm still the champ! I'm still the champ! Right? It is very, very scary and odd to watch this. It's bizarre. Now, Sam was starting to come back to normal. He sat up and rubbed his jaw, right? So he wakes up. He has gotten hurt, remember? So he rubs his jaw. When I count to 3, I said to both of them, you will forget everything that has happened. So once again, William tells them this to pull them out of the trance, to pull them out of the hypnosis. And they did. The baby went back to being a baby and started to bawl. So the baby stops behaving like a heavyweight boxing champion and she starts behaving like a baby and cries, right? She starts to bawl like a baby. To bawl is to shout and sob, right? To bawl, P-A-W-L is also pronounced bawl, is to shout and to sob. Sam looked at the broken door and the flooded house. Oh no, William, you're in trouble. All right, now William is going to be in big trouble. He's in trouble at school with Mr. Spigot and he's going to be in trouble at home also. And I was in big trouble. Mom and Dad were infuriated when they got home. They were enraged. They were incensed. They were fuming. They were outraged. All these words I taught you yesterday. Okay. They wouldn't stop going on about it, on and on. So they kept shouting at him. They couldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe the baby kicked the door down. Now, would you believe it if someone tells you, if some child tells you that, Oh, you know what? I hypnotized my baby sister and she turned into a heavyweight boxing champion and broke the door. You'd say, what rubbish, you're lying, right? You would be disbelieving. Disbelieving, right? So, another word for disbelieving is incredulous. The D has a J sound. Incredulous. Okay, repeat after me. Incredulous. Incredulous means disbelieving. You can't believe what the other person is telling you. Yes, I agree with you. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, so the parents are incredulous. They're disbelieving. And they wouldn't believe this story about hypnosis, the baby kicking the door down, Sam turning into a fireman and flooding the house. What rubbish, right? And the house. The house is in terrible shape. Okay, the house is absolutely, it's looking run down now. It's destroyed. Remember, it has been wrecked, it has been defaced. So the house is looking dilapidated. Even though it's not an old house, it's starting to look dilapidated. It's looking ramshackle. It's looking tumbled down. So when a house is falling to pieces, when it is in a terrible state, a state of disrepair, any of these words can be used. So the house is dilapidated. It is ramshackle. It is tumbled down. The wallpaper has come off. The wood has gotten spoiled. Water has gotten into the electronic appliances, right? They're going to have to replace so much. They're going to have to call a contractor to see what all needs to be done also in the house. So the house has gotten dilapidated, ramshackle, and tumbled down. Okay. These lies just make it worse, William, said Dad. So Dad doesn't believe all this rubbish William is telling him. Sam was sent home and I was sent to bed. So they send Sam home and they send William to bed. They say, okay, now you have to go to school tomorrow. Now let's see what's going to happen at school. Remember, they have to go back and they've not done any of their mathematics problems. In the morning, I woke up and hoped that it had all been a nightmare. So when William wakes up, he's hoping, oh, this has probably just been a bad dream, a nightmare. But nope, it had actually happened. The sheets of unanswered sums were still on the floor. So all the mathematics problems were still on the floor. They had not been answered. He had to go with those empty sheets to school. When I went to school, Sam and I would be expelled, and Dad and Mum would be enraged. Now, William is absolutely terrified. He's petrified about going to school because he is going to be expelled. Don't you think so? Wouldn't you be scared if you were in this position, if you were in this dilemma, in this predicament, children? Yes, you would feel scared too, wouldn't you? I walked out of the door. I walked out of the door towards school. Make sure you behave yourself at school, said Mum. I went out to check on Raman. So while going to school, William checks on Raman, the chicken. I stayed with him for so long that I made myself late for school. So now William is scared to go to school, so he spends a lot of time with Raman and he eventually gets late to go to school. All right? Maths was the first class. Mr. Spigot. Remember Mr. Spigot? Yes, he's back. Mr. Spigot was just getting started with the class. I rushed in at the last moment. So William is late for school and he rushes in. Right, said Mr. Spigot. Stand up, you two, Sam and William. Have you done your homework? Have you finished those sums? No, whispered Sam. Oh, no, yes, we have, Mr. Spigot, I said. We worked on them together. So William says, oh, we did it. Is William lying? Let's find out. Okay, let's see, said Mr. Spigot. He read out the first sum. All right. Then he looked at me for the answer and he checked my sheet. The answer's 3 minutes, I said. Mr. Spigot raised an eyebrow. I was right. And even the working was right. He checked the sheet. Mr. Spigot read out the next sum. The answer is 502, Mr. Spigot. You can check my work, I said. So William hands him the sheet of paper where he's done the working, all right, and the answer. And the answer is correct. What happened that morning that, he's gotten everything correctly? He has hit the nail on the head. To hit the nail on the head doesn't mean you take a nail and you hammer it on your head. It means you answer something correctly. How is William answering everything correctly when the previous night he didn't know the answer to any sum? How did he do this? Right? This is a mystery. So, correct, said Mr. Spigot. So, because William has hit the nail on the head, Mr. Spigot read out all the 50 sums and checked the working of all 50 sums. I had answered each one of them correctly. We were saved. Now, because William had done all the homework, all right, Mr. Spigot calmed down and he said, okay, Sam, no problem. You can, it's all right. Well, that's about all. We didn't get expelled, but I was grounded for a month by Mum for all the water damage. So he was grounded. All right, he gets punished at home because of all the flooding, the deluge that was created, right? Their house had been inundated. Okay, so let's find out what has happened. Looking back on it now, I would have to say that using hypnotism is not a good idea. It caused too much havoc. So William is saying, no, hypnosis caused too much havoc. So I don't actually want to hypnotize people anymore. If you asked me what was the worst bit, I would say it was when Sam ate the snails. If you attended yesterday's story, you know that Sam thought he was a chicken and he ate a snail. That was terrible. That was horrendous. Now let's find out what the best bit of the hypnosis was. The best bit was probably when I stopped to check on Raman on the way to school that day. Remember? When William was going to school, he first stopped to check on the chicken Raman. It was a great idea to send him back to an earlier life. So now, at the last minute, William decides to hypnotize Raman before going to school and send him to an earlier life. It turned out that the chicken had been a maths teacher in his previous life. All right, the chicken, remember this chicken was gifted. It was good with numbers also. It would peck out the numbers. So in its previous life, it was a maths teacher. I read him the problems and he helped me with all the answers. It was easy peasy. So that's what solves the mystery, right? That solves this mystery that William hypnotized Raman. Raman used to be a mathematics teacher and Raman helped him solve all the problems so he was not expelled. All right, so children, my question to you is, if you were William, what would you do next with your hypnotist abilities? So I want you to think about it for a moment and put your answer down in the comments, right? If you had the powers of hypnosis, what would you do next with your hypnotist abilities? Would you use it for good, or would you create havoc, or would you choose not to hypnotize anyone? What would you do? All right, think about it and put the answer down in the comments. And while I'm waiting for you to write this answer, I also have a quick announcement, children. So we're very excited because we are commencing with our annual creative writing and reading programs tomorrow. If you enjoyed this class, the class that I taught in these last 2 days and even last week's class, you're certainly going to enjoy this class. All right. So here you will be able to interact with your teacher better. It's going to be a small group. You are going to learn some impressive, formidable English. So the reason that my English is at this level is because I was a student at Brainy Brats and now I'm a teacher at Brainy Brats. So children, yes, so in case you enjoyed today's class, you're going to love this class. And children, if you want the PDF with the meanings, today, the meanings of the hypnosis havoc, please WhatsApp us on this number here and we will send it to you. All right. So remember, if you want all the 60 words with their meanings, we will send you the PDF. All you have to do is WhatsApp us and we will do the needful. All right. So Tanishka says, I would hypnotize my mother to let me watch TV all day. Wow, Tanishka, what would you watch all day? Wouldn't you get bored? All right. Vishwas. Could you put down your real name, Vishwas? Thank you so much for your compliment. All right. Bhagirathi says, I would use it to not hypnotize people. So Bhagirathi would not hypnotize people. Um, agrees that yes, Raman is good at numbers because he was a maths teacher in his previous life. Kanishka says, I would not hypnotize anyone because it always creates havoc. Arvika says that I would hypnotize a thief so that the thief would automatically walk to the police station whenever he steals something. Very nice. All right. Apeksha says that I would do nothing because I'm tender hearted. So you wouldn't use your hypnotist skills. All right. So Arya says I would check everybody's previous birth. So she would check her brother's, her mother's, her father's previous birth and use their help for herself. Yes, very nice. Amira, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Okay. So yes. Um, very good. Vanya says I would hypnotize everyone and use their skills for myself. Yes, about the creative writing class, you can contact this number. If you would like to know more about the creative writing class, please contact us on this number itself and we will send you all the details. Alila says, I would use it for the better of the citizens of the city or the country. A very, very noble answer. So the ghost says, I would hypnotize a cricketer to teach me cricket. So he'd probably hypnotize Virat Kohli, somebody of that stature. All right, Vanya says, I would not do anything actually. Amira says, I would audition at America's Got Talent. So what would you do? You'd hypnotize the judges to ensure that you would win. All right. So, Prithvi, you certainly can register if you would like. Yes, you can do it by evening. Yes, absolutely. All right, children. I hope you enjoyed today's tale. And yes, and we're going to see you soon for the creative writing class, I hope. And like I said, if you want more details about the creative writing class, the reading class, or you'd like the PDF for the 60 words workshop that we did, you know where to WhatsApp us. And we will see you soon. Bye bye.